Hello, Commanders fans. Today, we have some hot news that you can't miss, so get ready because there's a lot of important information coming your way. Before we begin, we'd like to take this opportunity to subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and stay up to date on all the news about our Washington Commanders. Don't forget to leave a like, which greatly strengthens our community and helps bring this content to the most passionate fans of the team. Now, without further ado, let's get straight to today's news.
Commanders and Deebo Samuel officially in transition period after contract termination. Despite the Washington Commanders getting some decent returns from wide receiver Deebo Samuel Sr. during the 2025 season, that doesn't mean general manager Adam Peters will offer him another contract. The signing has its merits, however, the franchise could easily pursue younger and more dynamic options during this important offseason. It's a precarious situation with no definitive answer. Now the Commanders and Samuel are officially under pressure regarding his future. Deebo Samuel's contract with the Commanders has been terminated, and time is running out. Peters rightly believed the Commanders were in a strong enough position to be bolder at this same time last year. The front office leader initiated this aggressive approach by closing a deal with the San Francisco 49ers for Samuel, and the results were quite solid considering the difficult circumstances. What the Commanders need to decide is whether the money Samuel will likely demand is worth what may be his last chance to secure a lucrative contract. SpotTrack's Michael Gianniti confirmed that the former South Carolina Star's contract has been officially terminated, leaving Washington with a dead cost of $12.34 million in 2026. Wide receiver Deebo Samuel's contract expires today, leaving a $12,344,420 salary cap impact for the Commanders. The 30-year-old received $18.25 million in 2025 and is valued at nearly $16 million in free agency. That was the risk Peters was willing to take by jumping the queue and trading Samuel's contract. The 49ers absorbed just over $34 million in dead costs to get rid of him, but some of that burden was passed on to Washington. Fortunately, the Commanders have kept their future financial flexibility intact, so they can easily absorb this amount without compromising their ability to strengthen a roster that desperately needs reinforcements. This won't change much. The Commanders are still a month away from the end of free agency. Peters will contact Samuel's representatives if there is interest in keeping him on the team. If salary isn't an issue, or if the player wants to explore other options, Washington already has other targets in mind.
A Commanders analyst exposes the warning sign about Brandon Aiyuk that nobody is talking about. It was no surprise to see the Washington Commanders at the center of speculation about wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk's next destination, following his inevitable release by the San Francisco 49ers. His close relationship with quarterback Jayden Daniels contributed to this, but that doesn't mean it's an obvious conclusion. There are concerns, many of them. The 49ers were completely perplexed and furious with Aiyuk's behavior this season. He hasn't played for the entire 2025 season and is recovering from a fairly serious knee injury, making it difficult to predict how much the receiver will be able to contribute. That wasn't the only thing bothering one team analyst, who felt there was another possible warning sign that hadn't been well received before this potential acquisition sometime during the preseason. The Commanders can't sign Brandon Aiyuk just because of the sponsorship system. Danny Ruhier of radio station 106.7 The Fan acknowledged that Daniels and Peters will have more information than most about what really happened between Aiyuk and the 49ers. Even so, the analyst wants this signing to have more substance than simply bringing the quarterback's best friend to the team for a good salary. Obviously, Jayden Daniels has more information than most. They've been very close friends since their time at Arizona State. Adam Peters was there during the draft selection process, so I don't mind relevant information coming through, but I can't accept it being like, oh, you guys are friends? Here's $20 million because you text and video call sometimes. If the Commanders sign Brandon Aiyuk, it's not enough for Jayden Daniels to just want to sign him. There needs to be a process to follow. That's fair. Daniels is being more vocal about the offensive scheme he wants David Blau to implement. It's unlikely that this growing influence will stop there, and his not-so-subtle hint that he wants Aiyuk by his side on the Commanders during his media row interviews the week before Super Bowl was the clearest message possible. That shouldn't be enough. Peters is smart enough to talk to the player, he has a strong connection with Lynch and Shanahan in San Francisco, so there will likely be phone calls, and then there are still some rigorous medical exams to be done before confidence in Aiyuk's prognosis increases. Being close friends with Daniels during their time at Arizona State doesn't guarantee anything. The Commanders are under added pressure to turn things around after a 5-win season in 2025. They need to identify the right improvements at virtually every position while eliminating sentimentality from their decisions.
The Washington Commanders and the Atlanta Falcons may be interested in signing a starting tight end this offseason. The Commanders have uncertainty at the starting goalie position, with veteran Zach Ertz, who will soon be a free agent and is coming off a season in which he suffered an ACL tear. There is also the possibility that the 35-year-old will retire. The Falcons' star tight end, Kyle Pitts, is a potential free agent, and there is no guarantee that he will return, especially considering his status as the best tight end available. With both teams possibly seeking reinforcements at the tight end position, Jared Dubin of CBS Sports listed them as possible destinations for David Njoku, the Cleveland Browns tight end and future free agent. The Falcons may lose Pitts this offseason after 5 years in Atlanta and will need to replace him if he leaves. The Falcons' new coach, Kevin Stefanski, knows Njoku very well from their time working together in Cleveland, Dubin wrote. The Falcons don't have a player like Harold Fannin Jr. ready to take on the leading role that Cleveland had last year, so Njoku could be a great option for them. Washington lost Zach Ertz to an ACL tear at the end of 2025 and needs a tight end with receiving ability to replace him. John Bates is more of a blocker, and Ben Sinnott, a second-round pick in the 2024 draft, hasn't been able to excel as a passing option in his first 2 seasons. If the Commies decide they need to look for reinforcements outside the team in free agency, Njoku could be a great option, he said about Washington. Njoku completed the final year of his $54 million contract with the Browns in 2025 and has made it clear he's looking for a new team in 2026 after recently posting a farewell message to fans. But this was hardly his fault, as the Browns had a disastrous quarterback situation throughout the season, a very familiar theme in Njoku's career. The biggest concern for teams interested in his services is the fact that Njoku has consistently been on the injured list throughout his career, having missed a total of 11 games in the last 2 seasons. He will now turn 30 in July. When healthy, Njoku is undoubtedly an impactful pass receiver who excels between the 20-yard line and in the red zone. Honestly, we would love to see Njoku on either of these 2 teams, as he is an ideal target for young quarterbacks who need a reliable option in the passing game. We wouldn't rule out the possibility of the Falcons bringing Pitts back, but otherwise, Njoku would be a solid replacement as a temporary option to keep Atlanta in the position for a season. But ultimately, we believe the Commanders are the most likely destination. With so much uncertainty surrounding Ertz, we believe Washington will take a different path, and Njoku would be a fantastic option to replace him.